Alright, hey guys, it's been a long time since my last tutorial. It's been too long. But, just to show you, I haven't really changed anything from where I left off, except I've added the shooting mechanism. And it really doesn't do all that much yet. What it does is pretty much just follows the path of your mouse. And the ball, it doesn't really look very good when it's just a ball. So I mean, you can add your own art and change that if you want. But for now, we're going to just use this ball because it's good enough for what we need to do. So in here, if we look, we've got a bullet class now. Now I know in the past I would usually type this out, but this time I've already done this. I don't feel like typing it again. So basically it's a lot like our player and our block and our enemy, because you've got your X and your Y, except now we've got the speed that we want to fill in right from the beginning. We're going to put in X speed and Y speed when we make a bullet, and then put that there, and then every frame we're going to change the X speed and the Y speed, and then just the graphics for the ball. So it's really not all that complex, it's just creating a bullet that's going to be on the more difficult side. So if we go back to main, now I've added a mouse down event listener. Mouse event dot mouse down. And if you look down here, this is where it gets into the tricky trigonometry stuff that I was talking about. So you start off with your angle. Your angle is going to be 0 right at the beginning. If the X of the mouse is greater than 400, basically if the mouse is on the right half of the screen, you want the angle to be, alright, here we go, the inverse tangent of the mouse's Y coordinate minus the coordinate of the camera, both of those, minus the Y coordinate of the character, all of that divided by the X of the mouse minus the camera X minus the character X. So really this is kind of like, if you're into math, it's kind of like the slope equation where you have x2 minus x1 over, or y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's basically what this is, and the mouse minus the camera is the difference of where the mouse is in relation to the movement of the camera. So really it's just a really weird way to put in a slope formula, and you use that slope, find the arctangent of that gives you the angle that you want this bullet to be fired at. So we want to also say if the mouse is on the left half of the screen, you take this and you multiply it by -1, because it's going to give you the same number as this if you don't multiply it by -1, and we want our bullet to go this way if we're shooting this way rather than actually go this way. So we just want to make sure that we actually have it go to the left when we want the mouse on the left. After that, once you've got those, you've got your angle situated here, you take the cosine of that, multiply it by 45 for the X, and then you take the sine of that and multiply that by 45 for the Y. And then again, if you're on the left side of the screen, multiply the X speed by -1 so we can fix that. Now, we've also got our bullet down here, and this is where it really happens. You start the bullet at the X coordinate of the character and the Y coordinate of the character, and then you've got the speed up here, and you put those in, and then you have all the variables that you need to make your bullet. So we go back here, we add the bullet to the camera, and then I also created an array called bullets where we're going to put all of our bullets. Declare that up here, and if we go back down to the check stuff function, I've now added every frame we want to check all the bullets, and the check on the bullet really is just move based on the speed that we already have. So feel free to pause all you want and go back, make sure you get all of that, because this is really important to what we're going to do next. You want to make sure that your bullets move like this. So once you've got that, Next thing we want to do is enemy collision detection. So we're going to go into the enemy, and we want to add health depreciation on the enemy. So what we're going to have to do is, in our checkObj function in our enemy, we're going to add a second variable, and this is going to be called bullets array. And this is going to be an array of all of the bullets like we had before. And we're going to go back into our main, and then where we call our checkObj in the enemies, we're going to add bullets. So now we go in here, we have that bullets array at our disposal, and what we're going to want to do is run a for loop. Run through the bullets array. And then, once we've got that, we say if math.abs x, alright, this is going to be a bit tricky, bullets I dot x minus x is less than width divided by 2, and math.abs bullets I dot y minus y is less than height divided by 2. Then we want to say health minus equals 50 for now. And then at the bottom here, outside of our for loop, we say if health is less than or equal to 0, we want to say, what we're going to do is we're going to change the return type from void to boolean, and we're going to say if the health is less than or equal to 0, we're going to say return true, so we really don't need those brackets, and then outside of that, hit return false. So now we're going to go back here, and we're going to say if enemies, and that's going to take it and it'll return either a true or a false. And if it returns true, this block of code will run. And this is what we're going to use when we want to get rid of our enemy. So what we're going to put is, first off, you remove it from the array, then you remove it from the screen. So we want to say enemies. We're going to have to change a little something in here. So let's take enemies.length, put that here, -1, and then say j is greater than 0, or greater than or equal to 0, and then j minus minus. We want to run through it backwards because otherwise when we remove stuff it's going to screw it all up. So we have that backwards now, and now when it's true we're going to say enemies.splice j1. J for where we want it to splice, and 1 for how many we want it to splice there. And then we say cam.remove child enemies j. I flip-flopped it when I said it before. You remove it from the screen, then the array. So now we should only have to hit our enemy twice and it should die. There we go. Now it's dead. So that's basically how you do that. Now what we're going to do in the next tutorial is we're going to add a little bit of AI to our enemy, and we're going to add a little health bar for each of our enemies, and we're going to see if we can add another enemy to make this more interesting. So, see you guys next time.